On a scorching summer day, two childhood best friends, Emily and Sophie, decided to reward themselves after finishing university with a dream vacation to the Maldives. The first 3 days were everything they had imagined: the turquoise sea, the scent of coconut in the breeze, empty beaches, cold drinks, laughter, and endless sunshine. It felt like paradise. But behind paradise, hell was waiting. On the fourth day before sunrise, the girls woke up early to take photos in the calm sea. They swam further from shore where the water was clearer, quieter. Everything seemed perfect until a dark shadow moved beneath them. It was subtle at first, just a ripple below the surface. Then a large, pale body circled them. Emily barely had time to think before Sophie screamed. The water erupted. It was a shark, massive and fast. It clamped onto Sophie's leg and thrashed. Blood spread like ink in the water. Her leg tore away. The sea turned red. Emily, trembling, grabbed her best friend and started pulling her toward the shore, heart pounding, praying it wasn't too late. Lifeguards rushed in and helped drag Sophie from the water. She was pale, shaking, barely conscious. At the hospital, the doctors tried to stop the bleeding, but they had no choice. Sophie's leg had to be amputated. Emily sat outside the operating room, her hands bloody, her eyes dry from too much crying. When Sophie woke up and realized her leg was gone, she didn't say a word. She just stared at the ceiling, and then the tears began. But not from pain, something deeper, darker. Days passed. Sophie grew silent. She refused to look in mirrors. She stopped eating. She no longer spoke. At night, she screamed in her sleep. Emily stayed beside her, holding her hand, whispering comfort. But sometimes love isn't enough. One night, Emily found a note by Sophie's bed. It read, "It wasn't just my leg. My future was ripped away. I'll never dance again. The world won't accept me like this. I love you, Emily, but I don't belong here anymore." The next morning, Sophie was gone. They searched the island. All they found was her dress near the edge of the water. A week later, her body washed ashore. In her hand was the friendship ring Emily had given her. Emily collapsed. She couldn't stop blaming herself. She was the one who asked Sophie to go into the water that morning. She pulled her out of the sea, but couldn't save her from what came after. Time passed. Emily withdrew from the world. Every wave, every beach, every white dress reminded her of Sophie. She dreamed of the shark's cold eyes and Sophie's scream echoing across the sea. Then one night she dreamt of Sophie. Underwater, hair floating like silk, eyes calm. In a soft voice, Sophie said, "Forget me, but you have to live." Emily woke up in tears. From that day on, she began helping others. She joined a support group for amputee women, shared her story, listened to theirs. It didn't heal her completely, but it gave her purpose. A year later, she returned to the Maldives. She stood at the shore holding flowers. The ocean looked the same, but it would never be the same for her. Slowly, she dropped the flowers into the waves and whispered, "I'll never forget you. The world is different without you, but you live on in me every single day." The tide carried the flowers away. The sea was calm, peaceful, but for Emily, it would always be the place where a shark didn't just take a leg, it took a life, a future, a piece of her soul. Sophie was gone, but in every good deed, every tear, every wave, she lived on.